Eric Brown. Grew up in Oklahoma, so I have absolutely no idea how to deal with this kind of stuff. But we didn't do a lot of camping when I was a kid, but I had to learn very quickly when I spent some time in Afghanistan how to survive out in this kind of place. I spent all my time over there up in the mountains. Since then, tons of camping, tons of backcountry, tons of time spent out in other wilderness areas and hotspots around the world. So my approach to this is probably different than most. I carry more than I need in that vehicle, I think, like a lot of people do. But I also carry a very heavy bag because I'm kind of used to it. And when I'm out here, I want to be as comfortable as I can be, and just try to survive. I've been out for weeks at a time, and sometimes it's fun and sometimes it's not. But I know I can. So that's hopefully some of that information can be made around and passed around to you guys. So the idea behind this, I don't know if anybody knows Morris Kahansky. He's a, I don't know, 30 or 40, 50 years ago, Canadian adventure guy. He came up with the idea of this, but it's more of a rounded, he built it out of the sticks and logs that he has. But this is the same idea. You've got a radiant barrier in the back. You've got this plastic drop cloth. And the idea for this one is not necessarily, I'm gonna get in there and sleep, and it's gonna be the perfect place to sleep. The idea for this is heat. And once you're warm, you're gonna be able to sleep in there just fine. So what you would want to use this with is a long fire. I wouldn't stay in this like it is. I would only be in this if I was somewhere for a few hours. We had say you're on a recovery, you got some people with you, they don't have anything. They're freezing, they don't have anything, we don't have anything for them. And it's just gonna be 7 or 8 hours before we get out of there. What an option is to build this long fire. And when I say a long fire, I mean 7 foot long as your shelter, within about 4 feet or so, 4 feet or 5 feet of your shelter. And what you're gonna do is have those long logs or smaller logs the entire length of that. And you're gonna build it up 3 or 4 tiers so that fire is gonna be raging for hours. And of course, you're gonna have other firewood to throw on it. That fire is gonna heat up inside here. It could be 70, 80 degrees in there and minus 20 outside. Because of that radiant barrier heat, but you've built a greenhouse. Inside there, what I would then also do is build a raised bed. And if this was where I was staying, I would have some poles, build a raised structure with some poles to get you up off the ground, and then pull off a lot of these limbs and build a bed, basically. And when you're building that bed, one thing to think about is when you lay on that, like Eric was saying, when you lay on those branches, it's going to compact. Build them crosswise and kind of lattice work, and then when that last layer, build it crosswise, so that you're not just sinking down, and it's providing some support. But I would have a nice 4 or 5 inch raised bed with limbs and things to get you off the ground, and then your pine would be your actual bed, and then I would throw my backpack or my sleeping bag, my sleeping pad on top of that. And I've actually slept out, and it was a minus 15 or so in one of these, and I was down to just a t-shirt and shorts. It was minus 20 outside, minus 15 outside, and I was sweating inside because it was so warm. This is, if you have, and this doesn't take a lot, it just needs some paracord, drop cloth, a tarp with a reflective heat and some way to kind of hold it up. You can do 100 different ways to do this, but the idea is to build this to reflect that heat off of that fire. Then on the other side of the fire, you could always build another windbreak, fire break. If you had time, you're going to be there a while. But it's just a really good way to build very, very warm area to hang out in. And you can build this in all kinds of different infrastructure. You can build it with a dome, you can build it all kinds of different ways, but a very simple way to do it is the way it's done here. There's things that could be done better, obviously, on everything that we do. But one thing that it's not is, the front of this, what I would normally do is find a limb and then roll this front of this up in that limb for the weight to hold that down. Packed it in the back to keep the wind out of the back and to kind of just keep it down itself. So it's nothing fancy, but it will keep you alive if you're out here, and it's going to be a while before somebody can get to you. And the key again is that fire. I mean, you can stay in this like it is and get a candle. You'll get warm in there with this greenhouse effect. But I would look at this as if I've got multiple people out and we need to make sure there's a warm place to be, and we're going to be there for a long time. You build that log fire, build your shelter. You got a place for somebody to go hang out and get warm.
And so you crawl between the plastic and the reflective, right?
Yeah, you're sleeping between the plastic and the reflector.